We are running behind schedule. Nevertheless, I would love and herewith very much open up our meeting from the Saint Petersburg Toastmasters Club and welcome you almost to springtime. For me, feels like spring when a week ago we had -27 and now we have I think +2 degrees at least here in St. Petersburg. I would love everyone to mute yourself if you are not speaking. This helps everyone else to be in the focus of the automatic technical Zoom system, unless you've been asked to talk, and then help yourself to unmute and say what you have to say. Apart from that, I open up the meeting with handing over to our very almost new member, Maria Volodchenko, who is going to present us the joke of the day. Maria, stage is yours. Marina.
I will.
There we go.
Thanks for correcting this. My name is Marina, and I'm almost a new member of this club. And I'm actually going to be presenting an icebreaker today. So I'm very excited about this day. Talking about spring, I was thinking about the joke that I can connect to the spring, but I realized that since last spring I was working remotely, and I miss a lot, office environment, working with people, communicating with people, and a lot of jokes happens actually there in the office, where you get someone like new employee who gets to the office, and he just discover new things, how the things works in this office. So imagine new employee coming to the paper shredder, and he goes there with a big fat report, stands there, looks at it, and he looks very confused. So the secretary comes by and she goes like, "Hey, do you need help?" And yes, how does this thing work? So she goes, "Simple." And she takes the report and feed it into the shredder. And then the new employee goes like, "Thanks, but where do I get copies from?" So, our life is it can be so complicated and difficult, but small things like this are really helping people to get together and unite. And back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Marina. Thank you very much. This is a good one. When you're not capable to see the forest by getting lost through a lot of trees, I think that's how we would translate it in Germany. Absolutely. In our daily business, in our daily life, that happens very often. Thank you very much for kicking this off with the joke of the day. And we are going to our very next introduction, which is a pleasure for me to announce that the guide of today's session is going to be Irina Nosova. Irina Nosova has been with us, I don't know, since I have joined this club last year, and it feels as she would have done it a couple of years before me, because she's so easygoing and relaxed with all the things. Maybe the contribution that she is a professional English lecturer and a beloved traveler around the globe helps her throughout the session as well. With a round of applause, I would very much hand over the guide to Toastmaster of the Day, Irina Nosova.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you, Mr. President. You said last year was 2020. We joined the club before that, so time flies, Right. Okay. Welcome, everyone, and hello. Welcome to our meeting number 132, if I'm not mistaken. This is I'm not sure what, but this is our online meeting, and we've had only online meetings for a while, you know why. And I'm happy to present the topic of today's meeting. The topic goes like this: spring, a new beginning. And I will have a question to everyone. Doesn't matter whether you are a participant or a guest, the question is to you. It goes something like this: in what way 2021 new to you, or what new things you would like to embrace? We know that spring is considered to be the beginning of something. So let's pretend year 2020 didn't exist. And in what way, what things you are ready to embrace in 2021. I'll give my personal example. For example, this year is a leap of professional development for me. First of all, I started my blog. I've already started it, so it's not actually very new, but it's a new direction for me. And later this year, I'm going to take what is the equivalent of a master's degree in teaching English, which is very new for me, very difficult. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, this is my new beginning in 2021. You're welcome to use the chat box to answer the same question, but as for the team that I'm going to introduce in a couple of seconds, this will be the question for you to answer after you also introduce your role for today. All right, so as for the agenda, if you scroll up in the chat box, you would see a PDF file with the agenda of the day. Anyway, I think it's worth sending it again for the newcomers. And just a couple of tips, for general tips for the meeting. As Mr. President pointed out, it's wise to mute yourself when you're not speaking so that there will be no hindrances, no disturbances, and no extra noises. Use the chat box to answer any questions or to react in any way. And after the speeches, please do use the personal messages to give your feedback to the speakers. We do not clap using the clapping sound. We use the jazz hands. Can you show me your jazz hands to make sure everyone understands? Yeah, thank you very much. And if possible, turn on your camera. It looks good on the recording if we see the faces, your movements, your reactions, and so on. So that's all for the tips. I'm happy to present the team who is going to help us all today to run things smoothly. So first of all, I'd like to present the timer of the day, Mr. Rami Saeed. So Rami, your job now is to present your role and answer the question, how, in what way is 2021 new to you? Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. For 2021, it is a new beginning. My target is to set a target for myself and to double that, hopefully, in all aspects of my life. It's in money, in career, in friends, and in my personal life, gym, spirit, everything. Go all the way. Now, as far as the timer role, I'll be making sure to help guide you to get into the right time frame for your speech. So if it was for your speech, there is a minimum amount. Then when it is reached, I will put the green color. This means that you're within the limits. And then I will give you the yellow color, which means that you're now near the closing of your speech, and it's better to wrap things up and come to the conclusion. Red color means that you've reached the end, and right now you've exceeded your time, so you better try to, it's preferably to start stopping the presentation. I wish you, and for the improvisation session, it will be 1 minute for the green color, 1.5 minutes for the yellow color, and 2 minutes for the red color. I wish you all great speeches today and hope you all fit the time frame. Back to you. Thank you, Irina.
Thank you, Mr. Timer of the Day. We are moving on to the ad counter. Do we have an ad counter?
We have no our counter for today.
Okay. All right, then actually this is good news. I'm always so intimidated by ad counters.
I'll catch Irina. I'll catch that as a grammarian. I'm taking notes on ours
Great.
already. So
okay, that's great. So Right, then the next person I'd like to call to the stage is the ballot counter. And the ballot counter today is Walter. So yes.
Thank you very much, Irina. My ballot counter role, dear members, consists of the fact that we have 3 votes to do today. We have the speakers, and we will vote those speakers after this session, as well as in the second half of our meeting, we will have the table topic sessions where everyone can speak up to 2 minutes about a random topic. And this session will also be voted and the best table topic speaker announced. On top of that, we have a third vote ongoing, which will be the evaluation sections. So the evaluator of the speakers will also be voted. I will hand you in the chat a so-called small little link on the website. Make sure you have another space on your screen, and then you just click your favorite person. As a quick reminder, make sure after the speeches, you will take a minute to write in the direct chat, not to everyone, but just to the person who's just spoken, a personal note as a feedback due to his speech he delivered. Thank you very much. Back to you, Irina.
Thank you very much, Walter. And I'm not sure if our general evaluator is available right now, since he said that he was going to be in the elevator for a while.
I'm available. I'm following every single detail. I'm good.
Yes, thank you. Then, Alan, in this case, could you please introduce your role of the day and answer the question, in what way is 2021 new to you, please? You're welcome.
Okay, so thank you. My role here is to be the guy who watches your blind spot. In other words, we do what we can and we try our best, but there's always room for improvement. So my job is to spot what is good about what everybody does, every function. And by the way, I would like you to write your function under your name here in Zoom. I haven't done that yet. I'll be doing it right now. So add the function, especially for newcomers, that's very useful. So I will be looking at what's good, but also rooms for improvement. And at the end of the meeting, I will give my very short report on the roles which are not evaluated formally. For example, the Toastmasters and some other roles. What's new for me? Wow, I was in Ufa the other day. I got my divorce certificate. I felt fantastic. Sorry. So yeah, I'm beginning a new life professionally, personally. So 2021 is it's a new year, and I think Walter called it after COVID year 1, hopefully. So I'm back to the market. That's what's new for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Alan. And now the grammarian, who is also the counter of the day, Michael. Please welcome to the stage. Please introduce your role and answer the question.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I hope you can see my screen. Yes? All right. The word for today is rejuvenate. Stretch out the ooh. Rejuvenate. Yes, yes. Rejuvenate means to make new, make fresh, start over. Let's take the old, throw it away, and rejuvenate what we have to be good. It means, according to the dictionary, it says to make young again. I'm not sure we can go back in your age, but possibly if we can, that would be wonderful. But I don't think we can quite do that. Restore to a youthful vigor. You can do that. And your youthful appearance. You can do that. Okay. To restore to a former state, to make fresh again. We have rejuvenated our garden that will bloom in April, is an example. So it's March, we're working on the garden, we're trying to make it better. We're going to rejuvenate it. If you were a Toastmaster and then stopped for a while and now you're coming back, you can rejuvenate your Toastmaster skills. Another way of using it. You can also say rejuvenated, past tense, rejuvenating, current tense, that you are doing it right now. Any of these three, rejuvenate, rejuvenated, or rejuvenating, are going to be identified as words of the day. So I'll be listening carefully for those and marking down those people who are rejuvenated. Now, also, I'll be listening for the ums, ahs. I got several already marked down from just our people beginning today. And I will keep track of that during the meeting and see what we have for an end. Normally, this club is somewhere around 100 of those during a meeting. Last time we did this, somebody had down to like 24 or 25, which would have been super great, but I'm not quite sure it was accurate. So I'll be listening carefully, and they're not meant to be critical, but they're meant to help us so that we can remove them in the future. That's what I'll be doing as a grammarian today. Madam Toastmaster of the Day, back to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Michael. So I have to say that every time I participate in our Toastmaster meeting, it's a rejuvenating experience. Right, thanks. Okay, moving on to the speeches. We've got two speakers today. One of them is an icebreaker and a first speech for our almost new member, as Marina called herself. But before every speech, I'd like to invite the evaluators of the speakers to present the topic and to explain again their roles as evaluators. So Walter, by the way, you didn't answer the question the previous time. In what way is 2021 new to you? And please introduce Marina's icebreaker speech as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Toastmaster. Highly appreciate the improvised sections. I always love that when things are different. So you've got me definitely on your side. Answering your question at the very first, my 2021 rejuvenation strategy is to rethink all management and leadership positions and strategies I've had in my mind so far, understanding that recently the year 2020 has shown that in many aspects they are simply invalid. So I am going to get myself into rejuvenation of applying new strategies. This is what is going already on in 2021 for me. Coming back to me introducing the speech number one for today, I want to say that my evaluation role as an evaluator will consist of introducing, first of all, our speaker, who is Marina Volodchenko. Marina Volodchenko has on her path, due to the fact that she's one of our new members, the so-called icebreaker session. An icebreaker session is simply and sheer the easy fact of learning and starting your experience and your path in providing speeches. It is a very open speech, and its very core consists of the fact of simply introducing yourself to the new group. And due to the fact that we're all online, we haven't even met with Marina, and she only knows us through the digital online world. So everything I will going to be evaluating her is, how did she come across? What did she follow in terms of a structure, introduction, main part, the closing, and then obviously a very warm hint at the very beginning. Make sure, dear Marina, you click and fix the timer so you can see when your time is coming to an end, when you see the yellow slides and the red slides popping up then. Apart from that, I would very much like to introduce Marina Volodchenko with the title, You Don't Run a Marathon for One Day. You don't run a marathon for one day, Marina Volodchenko.
Thank you, Master President, and hello, fellow Toastmasters. I start my speech with a question. Have you ever attempted and failed any of your tests in your life for more than 20 times? So I did. My name is Marina, and I'm from beautiful city, Saint Petersburg, and I'm a CPA. CPA stands for Certified Public Accountant, and this is a license that helps you and allows you to practice accounting, audit, and other assurance services on the territory of United States. So I'm very proud of this, but to get there, it took me a while. It took me a long time and a long amount of work. It actually took me, to be precise, it took me 5 years of college education and 3 years of attempting and failing the same exam over and over again. So when I moved first time to America and I got my job offer and I started working as an accountant in a big international firm, I was really focused on being productive and being building my reputation within the clients and within my coworkers. But the one very important point that I missed was that to get higher up on the ladder of my career, I needed to get the CPA license done. But at the same time, it was really hard for me to balance that time of studying and working. And in profession of auditors, you know, we work a lot of overtime. We work on weekends. We work on during even our vacation time. So to study for 4 parts of CPA exam, I only had maybe an hour or 2 during the day to get ready for it. And I kept failing and I kept failing. And by the time I was up for promotion to manager, I wasn't getting it because I wasn't having my CPA license. So I decided to rejuvenate my strategy and I started adding some more activities in my life. And I started doing sports. I went to the CrossFit, I went to the gym, and I started running. And on one beautiful Saturday morning, I was running in the park, and I saw a group of people crossing my pathway, and those were marathoners. So I saw them, and I was very impressed because people were cheering, music was playing, and those runners were running. So I was very impressed and I felt like, wow, this is like a celebration of something great. I really, really want to be there. But in my thought at the time, I was like, no, there's no way I'm going to be there. This is marathoners. This is the professional athletes. Only people in sports can do this. There's no way I can do a marathon. And a year later, I started training for my first half marathon. And at that moment, I realized that to run a half marathon, it's not just in one day. You have to prepare, and you have to prepare for not just a week, not just a month. It could be more than 2 or 3 months. And it's all about discipline. It's all about doing your runs at least 3 times a week, at least one long run on Saturday morning at 5 a.m. So it's a process. And this exact moment made me realize that it's not about getting to the day of marathon or half marathon. It's about completing this process. It's about living in this process. It's about meeting yourself, your strength, your weaknesses, and realizing what skills you don't have and what skills you still need to work on. So at the end of the day, I completed a few full half marathons and 2 full marathons. I passed my CPA exam. I got promotion to manager. And I still think that the most important time of my life was the actual process of getting there, not the actual day of getting the achievement, or completing that marathon. Because completing the marathon was just a cherry on the top of the cake. And it was obviously it was a celebration of something great, of some big accomplishment. But at the same time, that process, that's the moment where I was growing. That's the moment where I was realizing, where do I need to work more on my weaknesses? And through one of those biggest challenges in my life, I realized that I still have a biggest fear in life is public speaking. So here I am surrounded with a great group of people in the Toastmaster community who listens to me, who cheers for me, who supports me and help me in getting to the better version of myself. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Marina. Thank you. Hopefully it wasn't as frightening as you thought it was going to be. Right, and okay, moving on to the next speaker. Before the second speaker can begin his speech, I'd like to invite his evaluator, Mr. Rami Saeed, to introduce his speaker.
Irina, can I just quickly
Yep,
interrupt you?
yep.
Can we just make sure that we'll have a minute for writing feedback to everyone?
I was going to do it at the end, so for both speakers. If you want, we can do it like for
we
each
do it
speaker.
straight away because
right,
this is
all
where
right.
you have the
I see.
idea. I'm
Yes,
sorry,
no
that
worries.
would be just more fluid for what you've thought. If
No
that's all right.
worries. No worries. Then
Thanks.
for now, let's all take a minute and write some personal feedback to Marina in the private messages, right? Please make sure that you choose her name in the pop-up list in the chat box, so you can say a couple of words to Marina, perhaps very, very nice words, or if you choose to tell her your constructive criticism, make sure it's neutral. And we'll proceed afterwards. Yes, Alan, you can do it in the personal messages. You can just click on her name
in the chat
box.
in the direct chat. It's not about, it's just a quick feedback, and yeah, and then we can also move on. Everyone can just write it. It's just automatically easier. We're doing is once you're in the session, you're in the emotion, you're involved in the speech, so you just write a couple of lines straight away.
It makes sense.
And then we just move on, Irina.
All right.
Thank you.
If Rami's ready to introduce his speaker, then let's do it.
I'm always ready. So I would like to introduce Randal Eastman. I'll just put the timer roll on hold for now. His speech is called The New Rules of Business Correspondence. And his target is to present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. And the purpose is to learn and review basic research methods. And as we know, Randal is the first face I saw in Toastmasters, and he is the reason why I felt comfortable and home to this environment, and I'm very thankful for that. And it is a big honor to be in that role of evaluation. So one thing about Randal that's very personal is that he used snail mail for 2 years with his future wife after he met her on board of a ship in Vladivostok. So, ladies and gentlemen, the new rules of business correspondence, Randal Eastman. The floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Rami. I'm talking to you from my mobile phone because I'm channeling you. I think you're my Toastmaster guru, actually, and because I have a better signal here. So ladies and gentlemen, I remember a time when I didn't get mail every day. As Rami said, when I was in the Navy on board my ship at sea, we would get mail delivered by helicopter in the middle of the ocean, sometimes once a week, sometimes every 2 weeks. And when we got mail, we didn't get very much. So we had time to read, reread, and savor each letter that we received. But times have changed. And now every day we receive tens or hundreds of messages that we have to process and quickly. So with new changes, a new game, new rules are sometimes required. And so I read recently a book, it's a new book called The New Rules of Business Correspondence. That's written by two Moscow authors, Ilyakov and Savicheva. Some of you may have read it. These two writers are, they write from a business perspective because they are marketing copywriters by profession. And this is their second book, which is not about writing beautiful prose, but this one is about how to communicate more clearly and concisely with both your colleagues and with your clients. And in this book, they're leading a crusade. They are in fact the new standard bearers, you could say, for a crusade against something called chancellorism. And chancellorism refers to a sterile, heavy, weighty, old style of speech that is often seen in formal Russian correspondence. So they are arguing against this. And I was surprised. I found it actually fascinating what they had to say, but I was surprised that they are not the only ones who, and not the first, who have been arguing for this in Russia or previously in Soviet society. Back in 1972, a writer named Nora Gall published a book, which is called The Word Alive and Dead in Russian. And in this, Nora Gall, who was professionally a translator of prose and poetry and had herself a very fine sense of the language, she was arguing against chancellorism. And she felt that writing should be more po-человечески, it should be more human, it should be more direct and clear. But she was not the first, because in fact, back in 1961, another Soviet author, who's perhaps the most famous and beloved of all Russian children's writers, Kornei Chukovsky, he wrote a book that was called Alive as Life Itself. And in this book, he coined this phrase, chancellorism, and he was leading a crusade which was to reform the education system and to change the way in which people were being taught and speaking. Because throughout Soviet society, in print, on radio, and elsewhere, there was this use of very dense, hard to understand phraseology that was empty and sterile. So he was fighting against that. So this book introduces this concept of, this timely concept of fighting chancellorism and changing the way in which we communicate with individuals in our business lives. And I boiled down the essence of this book into 3 points. One is respect your counterpart's time and their attention. Make it easy for them to reply to you. Number 2, be sincere and make your reader comfortable to achieve the goal that you want to achieve. And number 3, sometimes it's better not to write at all. So to share with you some of the key points in their book. Respecting your counterpart's time and attention. What this means is make it easy for them to reply. Stick to one topic in your message. Have a clear subject line so that it's easy for them to open up your message now and to retrieve it in the future if necessary. Get to your point as quickly as possible, ideally in the first paragraph. And if you have a complex topic, a complex matter that you're writing about, break it down using white space, headers, bullet points, so it's easy for the reader to walk through the whole message. If you have supporting documentation, attach it all to that message. And ideally, if there are some key decision points, like from a budget, you need approval for a figure, extract that from the document and stick it right in line into the message so that it's easy for people to quickly read, especially avoiding the risk that they maybe can't open the attachments. Make it easy for your reader to reply to you. In the case, you might give them several options to choose from. Or if you're raising a problem, which may be actually your fault, present a solution that they can choose. And if it's a timely issue, which often business matters are, be specific. Don't say need it ASAP. I needed it by yesterday. Say I need it by Tuesday, next Tuesday at 10 a.m. That helps the reader to process and do what they need to do to satisfy you. The second key essence in the book is be sincere and make your reader comfortable. And by sincere, they mean be sincerely polite. Don't just say, my dearest Randal, very truly yours, and then in the middle of the message, try to put the boots to me and manipulate me or take advantage of me. Number two, very appropriate in Russia. If you're writing to someone who is more traditional and they prefer the use of we, then write we, even if it's not something that you commonly use, to make them feel more comfortable with you. Number three, please make sure to get their name right. This is as applicable in Russia as it is internationally. Sometimes first names, last names are confusingly similar. And if we're dealing internationally, sometimes we misunderstand someone's last name for their first name. Nothing makes people feel more uncomfortable than when you get their name wrong in the message that you're writing to them. But also, conversely, make sure that they know what your name is. Is my name Randy or Randal? Is it Mike or Michael? Am I Natalia or Natalia or Natalie? This is very important. And it becomes even more confusing in Russia because sometimes in Russia, people's names in the Latin script are not consistent between their email, their Facebook, their Telegram accounts. So make it easy so that your counterpart is comfortable replying to you without having to think about this. And please avoid names like I'm a sexy lady 18 in your business correspondence, because those set the wrong tone. And we're talking specifically about business correspondence. Finally, sometimes it's better simply not to write. When you're emotional, when a matter is very complex, and it's better to actually have a face-to-face meeting to discuss it. Or if too many people are required to make a decision, then also better to have a face-to-face meeting. So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that these rules are very applicable in Russia as well as internationally, and I hope that you will take them to heart and do your part to eliminate the scourge of chancellorism. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Right. Thank you very much. Hello.
All right, I'm not sure if it's just me or if no one of you can see Irina or hear. Is it just me?
Yeah, I think she is out.
She's out. Okay. Then everyone,
she's
please just make sure that you'll take a couple of seconds and write in the chat your very feedback for Randal's speech to him as well before we continue with our agenda.
Hello.
Oh, you're back in the game. Cool, Irina. Good to have you back. We're just saying that we're writing a feedback to Randal quickly in the chat, and I'm handing over back to you.
Yes, thank you very much. Sorry for internet problems from my side. Yeah, you know, Randal, I have only one word to comment your speech. Amen. This is everything you mentioned is so true, so necessary, so practical. Oh my gosh. Right. Yes. While you are typing the kind words of your feedback, we would also like to hear the timers report, right, on the speeches. Rami, if you please.
Yes, hello. So as far as the timing for Marina's speech, it's 5 minutes and 55 seconds. It's within the time limit. As for Randal, it's 7 minutes and 38 seconds, which is higher than the limit. The limit is 7 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. So what do we do in this case? Do we vote? Do we not?
President's discretion. President's discretion.
All right. Yes, so Mr. President, it's your word.
Yes, I don't think that we should vote here in this case due to the fact that we have no time awareness, and we should just go ahead and move on.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. In this case, we're ready to go on a break after you're done with your feedbacks. We're going to I think we're going to start now. It's 2:47. Yeah, almost 48. Let's start at 48 for 10 minutes. So we'll be back at 2:58. Let's say 2:58. We're going to continue with our meeting. In the meantime, take a sip of water, go to the bathroom, network, use the possibilities to learn about people around you in this meeting. See you in 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, Irina.
Breakout rooms?
To everyone, yes, I don't know who said that, didn't see the picture. I was just going to introduce to everyone the breakout sessions. And I'm going to refer to what Irina's just said. The chatting is very difficult in a technical situation where 10 or more people are sitting there and try to speak all together. So what we are going to do now, and I'm going to initiate that, I am going to create so-called Zoom breakout sessions, and we will have probably 3 of them, and you will end up in one of those with 2 or 3 other people. And once the 10 minutes are over, I am going to technically close those rooms, and you will appear at the very altogether common session. So do not be surprised. I'm going to try to initiate that right now. Irina, I'm handing over to you.
Yeah, all right. So we're ready to reconvene our meeting. In the second part of our meeting, our guests will have a chance to participate, and I encourage them to do so. And I'd like to call to the stage our topics master of the day, Mr. Alexander Chernov. And please do not forget to first introduce your role to our guests today and answer the question, in what way is 2021 new to you? Alexander, please.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I have no camera, but you can always look at me. Give me a sec. My role is really simple. I have table topics, and like I can show them to you. Give me a sec. Let me introduce you the role. We have 7 cards with different pictures. All of them have a theme of spring. So what I'm asking you is to volunteer. You will choose the card, and I'll ask you a question about the card and the meaning. What's in it for me? Yeah, it sounds hard, but it's simple. I'll explain it. But at the same time, I want to ask timer, how much time do the guests have for answer to be eligible?
2 minutes maximum. So basically, the lower one is 1 minute.
30 seconds is a minimum.
Yeah.
No, 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
So you heard the guy.
So 1 minute. 1 minute is the minimum. 2 minutes is the maximum. 2 minutes, I will show the red. The maximum is the red color.
Okay. Let me retell you the story. From 1 minute to 2 minutes. You have to volunteer, write in chat. I will pick you. You'll choose the card, and we'll go from there. Don't be afraid. I will not bite. At least not the first time. So, and also, Irene, you asked about 2021. For me, it's a new year in that I began my new career. I'm about to begin my new career in front-end development. These cards are part of my kind of assignment, so I kind of modified it, cut the functionality, cut design, cut everything, but the cards. So yes, I think this new year will be the greatest year for me yet. Let me open the chat. and let's go for it. Also, please write in the main chat so I can see it. But as for now, our grammarian, Michael, is the first volunteer. So, Michael, please choose the picture. And I'll ask you a question. The pictures themselves are not
Chicanabu.
Chicanabu. Okay, sorry about the quality, but it's the best one I could find because it's a triptych from Japan. The main idea here, pictured here, is that in Japan there is a tradition that women will live in the spring. They will go and watch the cherry trees. It's called the Chikanobu cherry blossom viewing. So I want to ask if the Japanese have the tradition, and they're a very traditional country, by the way. They have a tradition of watching the beauty. What kind of traditions does your family, does your nation, does your country have about the spring? You can see it in Japan, but tell me about yours.
Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters and guests, thank you very much for this opportunity. I will talk about America in a moment, but first I will tell you that I lived in Japan for 5 years in Kyoto, and I can tell you the cherry blossoms are fantastic in the spring. They use it there as a rejuvenation of the spirit in the springtime after the winter. Now for myself, my home is in Colorado in the United States, where we get more than 2 meters of snow each year. So we eagerly look forward to the spring to come. And traditionally in my country, and especially in my own family's home, it's called spring cleaning. And as we know, the snow is melting. It's still a little bit cold outside, but around the 20th of March, we jump into cleaning. We pick a weekend and we go from house top to house bottom. Every room, every closet, every corner gets cleaned thoroughly for a spring cleaning so that we can start fresh, so that we can start over and we can go forward. And as the snow starts to melt in Colorado, many, many beautiful flowers start to come out, and we cherish those moments when we can see those blossoms coming through the ground, very small at first, and then taller and taller, and then blossoming into be a beautiful, beautiful bouquet. Just like in Japan with the cherry blossoms when they come out to signify spring, we have the same thing in Colorado, but not cherry blossoms. And we do cherish first cleaning everything up and then watching the new blossoms come out. Mr. Table Topics Master, back to you.
Thank you, Michael. Beautiful as always. I had no doubts. You'll make it spectacular. Rejuvenate our meeting after this long pause. So please, Michael was the first volunteer. Let me see who's next one. The next one is Walter, our president, Le Presidente. So please come in, join us, and pick the card.
Yes, please. I would preferably go for, I have no idea what Isaac Leviton Spring probably it says is, but I like the picture. Oh, no, no, it's not that one. It's the lower right. Oh, is it? Yeah, this one. The beautiful one. Yes, thank you.
I really hoped for Cesare to pick it, because Isaac Levitan is a Russian painter, but the picture is of Italy, because we had a tradition to send our best painters in Italy to study from the masters, because the tradition was kind of long that only the Italians were the best painters. And the tradition had to be broken. But what I want to ask you, look at this picture, look outside your window, and tell me all about the colors of spring. You can see it in Italy, you can see it in Russia. So the colors.
Thank you very much, dear Alexander, for introducing this. I very much appreciate this picture, and I have to say that colors are one of my most favorite topics, sheer due to the fact that colors can literally define what and how you feel. Especially in the last days when I went out with my wife and we had also almost a meter of snow, which was white, lying around, the thing which we can see on this beautiful picture up there at the top of the mountain. I felt so refreshing and saying to my wife, I have an imagination. My brain created this imagination that I'm totally in a different city. with that, the sound even of the streets was very nice because the cars' tires didn't hit the asphalt, and it was very, very appealing to me that I've somehow ended up being in a mountain city due to the fact that every single street was white and fluffy. That has suddenly changed just the second you asked me to look outside the window, because the very one day or the last day, it all went away. So everything I can do now is rely on those pictures and make my mind up this very hope that St. Petersburg in a couple of weeks will rejuvenate itself toward the new spring and become the best and beautiful city on this planet. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Walter. I'm one of those very few people, the Russians that love the winter. People despise me, I think, for it, but I can live with it. I love the winter. I love the winter colors. But right now, yeah, everything is gray. We can only hope for new colors to appear, because I can only see brown, gray, and a little bit of red. So let me find other people. Yeah, the Randal, our third volunteer. Please, Randal, I welcome you.
Well, coming from the spa industry, I think I want the Sandro Botticelli because it looks kind of spa-y like to me.
Come on. What I have to say, it's one of the most symbolic pieces in the world, because I grew up in the painter's family. So throughout my childhood, I'm fed up with, the symbolic meanings. For example, here we can see the change, the love, fertility. People, painters themselves and people of art, they're wasting their time looking for something that maybe is not there at all. So please tell us and tell me the meaning of spring itself for you, the feelings, the change and motion.
Well, what can I say? Thank you very much, Mr. Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters. The first thing that comes to my mind, of course, is rejuvenation. So as the snow goes away, we have the period of sort of gray blackness like we see today in St. Petersburg with all the dirty snow, and then we will start to see blossoms sprout. And I would hope very soon after that, we'll see lilacs blooming. I think the first time I ever experienced spring in St. Petersburg was last year, and it amazed me because I'd never been here at that time of year, that the city seemed to be full of lilacs. And I have a very strong memory of lilacs in my youth because where I grew up around our home, we had lilac bushes, and the smell is something that's indelibly etched in my mind. And as we all know, smell is actually the strongest sense that we have. So to me, spring is about rejuvenation. It's about this opening up of life again, which springs from what appears to be a total absence of life in the wintertime. And it's a chance for us to get outside. And in St. Petersburg, it'll be a chance for us to run around and go through the parks and perhaps train more easily for marathons. Thank you very much, Mr. Tabletop Master.
Thank you, Randal. I know the feelings and memories of the old times, they sometimes wash up like like a tsunami, but I have to forget them. Sounds sad, but true. I think we should not be tangled up in the past, whatever sweet it maybe was. But I don't know, maybe I'm feeling too strange today, but yes. Sorry about this. Irene is the next one, is the next volunteer that we have right now.
Mm-hmm. I pick Bruegel.
Bruegel. I remember you made the remark about the flowers, remember? You told us there was one of your speeches about the flowers.
Yep.
So I kind of hoped you pick another one. But anyway, because this one is the usual picture for all the Russians. It's walking in the fields.
Yeah.
Yeah. the kartoshka meme of Russia. All the kids have to go to grandma's house and help grow all those potatoes. Yes, sorry about the long introduction, but the question itself is stupid. Did you walk the field? Do you think that the tradition of walking the field in the spring is still as meaningful as it was back in the day? Because it's physical job, but maybe the useless one right now, because we can always get whatever we want from the shop. So the tradition may die, but what do you think about it? Did you walk the field?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, for this question. And actually, I was quite happy that no one picked Bruegel, because I absolutely love in general, European medieval paintings are something, you know. And speaking of walking the field and working in the field, as a child, I had this experience. I went to our dacha to plant some seeds, to help my grandparents make sure that we will have something like potatoes, like other fruit and vegetables on our table. And I can't say it bothered me very much. I mean, being physical, having to do some physical work. I was a pretty energetic and active child, so I saw no problem in this. Speaking of whether this tradition is dying, I must say I agree that first of all, we see the urbanization of our world in general. So it's no use anymore to own your own dacha just for the sake of putting the food on your table. Going to the supermarket and buying a kilo of potatoes is much cheaper than commuting to your dacha day after day, growing your plants, tending to them, and worrying whether you'll have enough to survive through the next year. So happily, luckily, it's not like this anymore, and I see it purely as a good thing. Mr. Toastmaster, back to you.
Okay, then. A controversial view in Russia, not walking the field. Your grandma will not be happy about it. Mine wouldn't, but she abandoned the field a long time ago. Yes, we have a time for 2 more questions, and I want to ask our guests. I know that our members can always answer the question, but are the guests our volunteers today, or are you afraid? You should not be actually afraid. We're good people, I think. Azam, Cesare, Irina?
I don't know, for me, Claude Monet.
Claude Monet, okay. As you always know, the pictures of expressionists, you should always look from the outside. You should take several steps back, because close, they look bad. It's the usual thing. But the impressionists, for myself, they let me rephrase it. The expressionists, they express the feelings, the color, the movement. But what I want to ask you is, what do you think about the completely opposite thing? How to relax, not to express yourself, but to relax. Tell me about how do you find a relaxation in this really hard and expressive time of the year and our life at all?
How I relax usually in this time of the year?
Yes. How to relax in the spring?
In the spring, yeah, I go to in the spring, I can go to the park, just maybe have a picnic, maybe going for a walk in the countryside. I think maybe walking near the river, like this.
Maybe something else. You Italians are cool guys. You always have something to do. Maybe there is something else.
Yeah, maybe go for a trip somewhere and visit a city, visit a nice place, when the weather is nice, you want to stay outside, you want to spend time in the countryside, in the nature. I think, yeah, maybe go to the seaside too.
The beautiful seaside of Saint Petersburg. the Finsky Zaliv. A comparable idea to the Mediterranean Sea. But yeah, okay. Thank you, Cesare, for being a volunteer today. And maybe we have time for the last one. Please, Azam, or will you not?
I don't know. It's maybe I should Pierre Augustine.
It's Renoir. Yeah, Pierre Augustin Renoir, Spring Bouquet. And the question is simple. What kind of flowers do you recognize, and do you yourself grow your flowers in the spring? Because it's one of the best times in the year to start your own orchids, your own flowers.
No, I always play when I want to grow up a flower. Always they disappear and destroy. I don't have any talent in this.
You can always start. It's not that hard. Maybe you still
now I
recognize
try
something.
with avocado with my friend, with my roommate. She and I try to grow up an avocado, and not yet. I haven't destroyed it yet. I hope it was successful.
Yeah, it's very easy to destroy the vegetables, because I can tell it from experience, because I was growing them in Saint Petersburg and all of them died the week I left. My brother, he's not a good grower. So yeah, thank you, Azam, for your participation, and don't be afraid to be the volunteer next time. As for me, I think it's the time is up. And the last question was, look outside and tell me how's it different from life in Russia, but nobody picked it. Because Levitan knew something about how the Russian spring goes. So thank you for your time, and let's continue our meeting.
Hello. Yep. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. And we would now like to hear the timer's report before we proceed to the voting procedure.
Hello. So everyone in the improvisation session was on time. Specifically, Michael had 1 minute 32 seconds. Walter, 1 minute 35 seconds. Randal, 1 minute 27 seconds. Irina, 1 minute 39 seconds. Caesar, 1 minute 02 seconds. Azam, 55 seconds. Back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. Then now we're ready to vote. In a short while, you will see a link in the chat box that will, if you click on it, will lead you to the best table topic speaker vote. You can choose any name present in this list to vote for the best table topics speaker. So here we go now. So there is a link from Walter. Please follow it. And let's vote right now. All right. And we are ready to proceed to the last part of our meeting, which is evaluations. I would now like to give the word to the general evaluator, Mr. Alan Akamba, to introduce the evaluators and then their speeches. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmasters. Great job so far. This is the blessing, we call it. I'm attending a meeting in New Jersey, US, and we call this part the blessing, because really this is where you get the cherry on the cake. And this is where you actually grow, because you receive feedback from other people. And so you don't want to miss this. in a Toastmasters meeting. So we had 2 speeches today, 2 prepared speeches, and we are now going to listen to the evaluation of those 2 speeches. The first one was evaluated by Walter. So Walter, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, dear Ellen. Thank you very much for handing me over this very task I very much enjoy. I am going to, first of all, turn on the screen so I can see the timer. There it is. So I can see the timer. And I am delighted to kick off my very personal evaluation speech to Marina Volodchenko. Dear Marina, let me start off with a structural approach. You've done a fantastic job from my very subjective perspective on how you opened up your entire speech. Consider the fact that you're doing it the very first time, you have still kept an emotional and personal idea of your very story throughout the very speech, beginning with the idea telling us that there are a lot of challenges in life, bringing it up to the drama curve, opening up your very personal drama to share with us is fantastic. Everyone was hooked, and me personally couldn't actually wait for the next word to come to you to see how the story evolves. So this hooking thing really worked very much. I know that it is usually very exciting and it can be very nervous to speak up in front of an audience which you are not familiar with. Having said that, I could not see anything of shaking hands, shaking voices. Your tone was clear and your speech was very straight. If I wouldn't have known that you're the very time delivering this speech, I would not be surprised that you've been here among us for a very long while doing this in this setting. This was very, very good. What also was very good is just the level of comfortability probably with the audience. I don't know how you managed it, but you were looking straight in the camera. You have a fantastic set of light. You have a fantastic sound settings. Nothing which usually could provide a little bit of distraction in this setting we are here with the online setting was not here at all. And I was delighted to see and be guided by you through the very story of your dip of this story where you discover that your weaknesses need to be delivered, how you went through it, then the light of passion which you brought into your session through finding marathon the right way and kicking off with the lesson to be life is not only a marathon, but for you, it shows you how to work through a lot of challenges which will be expecting you throughout your very life. Thank you very much for your emotional insight, and you've done a very good job. I'm looking forward to hear more of those in the future. Back to you, dear Mr. Toastmaster. Mrs. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Well, I'll give the floor back to our general evaluator.
Please excuse general evaluator.
No worries.
Yes, Ellen, here we go.
Thank you. Just quick question. Was that Marina's icebreaker speech? Okay, great job. Walter talked about only the positives, so that's great for icebreaker. Okay, great job. Now let's listen to these evaluation. It's going to be a tougher one because we are dealing with an experienced speaker. The second speaker was Randal, and he will be evaluated by Rami. The floor is yours, Rami.
Thank you. So someone will be timing me?
I will be evaluating your evaluation.
Okay, fine. I'm talking about timing.
Timing.
Yeah, the timer should do his job. Yeah. Okay. 1 second. Who can do that? I need to.
I will time you, Rami.
Okay.
My stop. Thank you, Irina.
Randal, I want to say that thank you for your wonderful speech. And here's what I love about it. Randal, I know something about you is that great thing that you have is that you always are able to get in touch with the audience. I was looking at everyone and concentrating at their reactions. You've got touched their hearts. I've seen people, they didn't only smile like that. No, I saw them till here to the ears. There were teeth showing from the audience. Like, people were so engaged with you. People were shaking their heads, no, and yes. So there was engagement. And this is something that is a strength on your part. And I think that you should concentrate and push on that. And this will get you closer to your goals. Your primary goal is to present on an unfamiliar topic. And I think that you have accomplished that. You are a very organized person, and I know that personally. And you are actually working on presenting and using different technologies in presentation. So I think that you were very organized. You had an opening, a middle, and a conclusion. I saw the distinctions, and it was very clear. Perhaps maybe it is sad that you went over time. Perhaps you could maybe work on your maybe the shorter beginning and being more efficient. Why I'm saying that is because I know that efficiency is very important for you. You're a very efficient person. Every time you give information, you try to, as much as possible, to do it with the lowest amount of words. And also, I haven't seen much smiling, so perhaps you would show that part of you. However, you still managed to connect with us, and especially with me, even without the smiling. You were having eye contact. I saw also gestures. At the beginning, it was a little less than in the middle, and at the end, it was much more. But still, your hands were a little down. So that's another thing to keep in mind. You were reading from your notes. I wish to see you talking more, although I understand that your topic is very challenging and it has a lot of detail. And I think that, what else? You also have a great thing. You don't use filler words. You don't use filler words at all. I haven't heard anything. And that's amazing. And keep it up, and wish you all the best for the future. Thank you.
Rami, good job. Concise evaluation. You talked about the good part, connection with audience, but you also talked about area for improvement like timing and smiling. So we look forward to more smile from Randal next time. Now is the time for reports of other roles. And I think I will start with the grammarian, Michael. Is Michael there?
Can you give me about 20 seconds? I'm adding up all the numbers.
No worries. The other role, I'll get back to you later.
Alan, perhaps we could start the vote for the best evaluator.
Okay, thank you. Great suggestion. Let's give Mike some time. And please, Irina, can you handle that part?
Yes, sure. First of all, we'd like to hear the timer's report on the evaluators before we can proceed to the voting procedure.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
so,
time.
Yes, let me go ahead.
Yeah, so as per the first evaluation, so Alan, Walter had 2 minutes and 54 seconds, which is right at the very good. And for me, I timed myself 2 minutes and 48 seconds, but Irina got 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which is great. Thank you. Back to you.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Rami. Then in this case, I'll just a quick remark that the link for the vote is already in the chat box. Please take a moment to click on the person whose evaluation you found best. And back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Yes, I think I'm just going to continue with evaluation of some other things before we move towards the end. I want to say that I commend the organization, the preparation of the meeting. There is a Telegram group, and there was a briefing before this meeting. and I was asked to take this role. So great job that you have this Telegram group that really brings all the stakeholders, the people having roles, in touch. Friendly atmosphere also started very well. Walter had an interaction with Yuri, who is here for the first time, so that was well done. Rami is doing a fantastic job as a timer. Walter also introduced Marina very well for her speech. And lastly, a few words for the Toastmasters. I like when you told us that we started the break at 2:58, very precise, and you said, let's meet at in 10 minutes after the breakout rooms. That was very precise. And but one thing I want to say, after Randal's speech, I think you said amen. I thought, well, amen is like, well, I agree with everything you said, which is not, there's nothing wrong with that. But when somebody speaks and you say, it was fantastic, or amen, the person might wonder, did she actually listen to me? So you might want to have a more insightful comment and say something like, wow, that was very informative, what you said about X. So that the person who spoke actually knows that this person listened to me. So I thought amen sounded like we're in church, and it's like, I actually didn't listen to you, and I just want to say something. So that's my comment. But otherwise, you're doing an amazing job, Irina. I love your style. Great conducting of the meeting. Now, Irina, I think we should be moving on to the vote, right? Is that right?
Well, I believe people already saw the link and they had a chance to vote.
Yes, let me just please excuse me for the interruption. We need to re-vote another time for the table topics, because the results are just not clear and they are spread among 3 candidates. So I will refresh another link and would like to ask you, once everyone has done so voting for the evaluators, please await the link for the table topic speaker, which are now reduced to 3 persons. And this should appear right now, because we need those.
And while they are doing that, one more evaluation, Alexander Chernoff, the topic master, very, very great, very good preparation with the paintings. I'm sure you took a lot of time to do that. That was amazing, very creative. But I thought that we wanted to see your face during the session. I was wondering who is talking. Maybe you could have switched on your camera so people could see your face, especially for newcomers. And then finally, you might want to shorten your questions, Alexander. Maybe you should write them down so that you can ask a concise question, because I think you did a lot of the talking. Sometimes you spoke for up to 30, 40 seconds to ask your questions. You might want to write the questions down so that you just read them for the table topic session. But I love the style, the paintings, and very, very good preparation. Good job, Alexander.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. And while we are sorting out some issues with the revoting link, I'd like to give the floor to our grammarian / accountant to give us his report. Michael, please welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Irina. I appreciate that. We had almost 130 ahs and ums and faux pas and minor additions today among our group of folks. I'll run through them relatively quickly. Irina, you had 7 ums, 5 ahs, and twice you said and. You also said yep, yep, yep. I'm not quite sure that's proper grammar to be used in our meeting, but it's possible. Alexander Chernoff, you had 5 ahs and 2 ums. You said back in the days, my brother, but you didn't complete it. You stopped and put a period in your sentence and then started again. You also said is not a good grower. Maybe not a good gardener or a good farmer or a person growing flowers, but not a good grower is probably not proper English. Ellen, you had 8 ahs and 6 ums. Rami, you had 10 ums and 20 ahs. And also, Rami, you said, I will put the green color. You didn't finish the sentence. You said, I will put the green color, and then you went to something else. So you need to finish your sentence completely. Marina, you had 10 ums and 10 ahs. You also repeated yourself, you said, it took me. So you were thinking, when you said it took me, you thought of something, but then you started your sentence over again and said it took me and then completed your sentence. So you repeated yourself during your sentence. Walter, you had 9 ahs and 7 ums. You said, I'm looking here what I'm trying to get. Oh, you also had a problem with Marina's name. Twice you called her Maria instead of Marina. And we heard Randal talking about how important it is to use people's names correctly. She was very polite and pronounced her name very distinctly when she said it so that everyone got it right, which was good. Randal, you had 1 and 10 ahs. What I liked about your speech, Randal, you said, stand barriers for a crusade. You also talked about chancellorism. Chancellorism is a word that most people are not going to use, and it's good that you taught them what the word was and what it meant. You gave them a good description. So that's also learning for our people. What else do we have? Caesar, you said you used 3 ahs during your presentation. You also, Caesar, you used 3 maybes in one sentence. You said maybe something, and then halfway through you said another maybe, and then at the end of the sentence you said maybe. So you used 3 maybes in one sentence. We need to be careful with it. All of these things that I have mentioned are not bad. These are growing. Only when you make mistakes and you realize that I need to do better, will you get better. If we don't point them out, you will continue to use them. So it's meant as an improvement, not as bad. And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people use rejuvenate today or some form of the word. And I appreciate you using the word of the day. So, Mr. General Evaluator, that's my evaluation of the grammar. Back to you.
Michael, thank you for this very elaborate report. And I would like immediately to ask the timer to tell us how much time Michael used for this evaluation.
Time at 3 minutes and 42 seconds.
Thank you so much. I hope this helps us all grow, as Michael pointed out. And I now yield to the Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Thank you, Mr. Grammarian / accounter. Thank you, Mr. Timer of the Day. I think we're done with all the reports for the day. And I'd like to draw your attention once again to the chat box. And if you look at it, you'll find a link there. Oh, I'm so happy my further arms are not being added onto the statistics. So please follow the link if you haven't done it yet to re-vote for one of the 3 candidates present in the new poll. Afterwards,
just to want to elaborate on that, the poll is working. Sometimes the internet connection does need a little bit of seconds, so you would have seen the poll needs to be started. It's probably you clicked faster than the system made it through. I have now, while we speak, 7 answers. We need now more because the participants are 12. So please do click the link on the evaluation of the table topics. Yeah, very good. Yes, 8 people. Come on, guys, that is not that difficult. We need to have at least 10. this result still would help us, but it's okay. That is interesting. 9 people. I need more, dear ladies and gentlemen. I need more participation. I'm afraid. Ten people, yes. Very good. 11, and there we go. Okay. I'm announcing the result to the relevant person, and then we can continue. Okay, thank you very much. Over to you and to the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. President. And now to the most thrilling part of the meeting, and which is also the closing part of the meeting, the certificates. I think they'll be ready any second now, so we can finally find out who was the best of the best today.
Irina, I'm going to need another minute, another 60 seconds putting these on. This is the first time I have done this, so I'm going through the process. So
no worries.
You can keep speaking about anything, and there's other professionals on the screen who can also keep talking, so no problem.
All right.
Maybe I can help out with this times. I feel I would like to say, please excuse me, dear Marina. The sheer fact that I have a cousin looking a little bit similar than you, always thinking that, oh, Maria, yes, good that you're with me, knowing that you are obviously Marina. So I very much hope you're not taking it too very personally.
Apologies, I accepted, Walter. That's okay. I have the same thing sometimes for people that I have association with. Yeah. My family or somebody else in the
yeah, you just can't help it.
Work.
I hear it obviously.
Yeah.
I knew you were. I think we have a new club tradition that the person who does that has to buy a round of drinks.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Is it only with Marina and Maria, or is it with all names?
Starting from next time or starting from today?
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see when we meet again. I think that is that's something we can do.
I think
Marina, you wanted to say something. I interrupted you.
Oh, I forgot. But I'm thinking now that if you're gonna buy those round of shots, I need them before my speech next time.
Nice. I think we can take this time also to invite our guests to leave any kind of feedback they feel suitable, right? We have some people who are first timers at our Toastmasters Club here in Saint Petersburg. So you're welcome to leave us any feedback in private messages to our president or for everyone to see as you wish. And of course, to invite us to visit us again next time in 2 weeks on the 13th of March, right? You can use the same link. Can you? Yeah. You can use the same link, the same details. It's going to start at the same time. So just that's so that you know, in 2 weeks' time, there's going to be another meeting where you can participate a little bit more actively, for example, in table topics, if you wish.
Mm-hmm.
Azam, we had a breakout session room with Azam. What did you think of the meeting, Azam?
I think it's a good, friendly, and I hope I can continue.
All right, thank you.
Okay. I apologize for taking so long, folks. It's the first time I made out the certificate, so apologize for that. Irina, we have been having sometimes a Toastmaster announce of the day, announcing the winners, and sometimes the president of the club announcing the winners. So if you would like, you're more than welcome to do it. I don't think Walter has any problem with you doing it.
No worries. I'm up to whatever.
Okay, we're gonna let you do it. So I'm going to show this, and if you will announce it, that will be great. Okay.
Right. You know, sometimes we have a sound effect, but this is usually the prerogative of Mr. Alexander Kim to provide.
Yeah, he's not with us. He's not with us today. So
yeah, that's fine.
So it's going. The sequence is going to be the speaker, the table topics, and the evaluator. That sequence.
Yeah, but I don't believe we had the best speaker today. Right.
The winning speaker should be. Ta-da!
All right.
You want to announce that, Irina?
Yeah. Do we have the best speaker of the day? Because we didn't vote.
No.
Yes,
but we're
that's why we have the speaker.
Oh, okay. It goes automatically. I'm so sorry. Yes. All right. Right. I'm more than happy to present this, the Best Speaker Award to Marina Volodchenko. Yay. Show you, Jay.
All right.
Right. Congratulations.
Are you ready for the next one?
Yes. Thank you. The Best Table Topics Award goes to Michael Wader. Surprise, surprise. Give your jazz hands to Michael.
I had a hard time writing that one.
And the Best Evaluator Award goes to Rami Saeed. Congratulations, Rami. Show your jazz hands. Yay. Thank you very much for participating, for watching, listening. Any kind of participation is welcome today as well as next time. And I'm giving the floor to Mr. President to give us the last couple of words of today's meeting. Walter?
Thank you very much, dear Mrs. Toastmaster. And I would like everyone to raise his hands to our I'm not sure, first time you did that? First or second time, please correct me.
The second,
but it's been a while. It's been a while, and I have to say you should do it more often because I very much enjoyed that, and I very much believe that the audience did so as well. So that one is definitely for you, Mrs. Toastmaster. Well done, you, guiding us through this beautiful session on the spring session. I would like, on the behalf of our Toastmaster International Saint Petersburg Club, to thank you for participating. I would like to quickly apologize again, Marina, for mispronouncing your name. I would love to have our guests leave us a feedback, and if you liked it, join our club as well, especially when you are in St. Petersburg, Moscow, or from wherever you are, even if from Iran and the time session fits you. We're happy to join us, to have us joined in our local online club as of now. Always the question is popping up if we are going to have offline sessions. I'm addressing it very often, that we will, as soon as officially the regulations of our local authorities will be clear, because still the situation is rather unclear with the vaccines. A lot of people meet outside. This is very personal, a very personal issue. I'm realizing that even in family discussions, some are going out without any problems. Some are saying you're crazy. So I cannot make the decision for this club to meet and have people endangered. So once these situations clarified, we're going to be back in the library, probably in terms of, I don't know, maybe May-ish, when the vaccines are starting to be active and the infection rates are going down. We are going to be back on our offline sessions, how it all began. Apart from that, I would love to remind you that we have our next session in 2 weeks' time. This is going to be the 30th of March. The 30th of March, so already in good spring time for good. What else would I want to say is that you are highly welcome, dear teams and members, to join our sign-up forms more quickly and fastly. I think this is a tradition to announce that, as that we should start on time. but I'm pretty sure that everyone knows that anyway. But to the technology, and sometimes we're just not there yet. However, I'm going to stay here for another 5 minutes. You folks are happy to do so as well. And for everyone who's leaving us, please have a good day unless you have something to say. And I would love the members to stay a little bit longer that we can quickly sign up the roles for the next meeting. Thank you very much. And you enjoy your weekend.